Hi guys, and welcome to my channel Carnival of Creativity. So this week's DIY video is going to be DIY Easter decorations and Easter, I don't know, I guess you could give them as gifts as well instead of eggs. Please make sure to subscribe if you like this video. I'm really happy with how they turned out, and without further ado, let's hop right into it.
So to press my flowers, I just used 2 books and some blue roll, which is a bit like kitchen towels, or you could just use paper. And I picked off these pansies out of a tray and placed them face down before putting another piece of either blue roll or kitchen towel or paper on top, and then my other book on top. I also tied these together just to make sure that I couldn't accidentally pull them apart, and left these for about a week to dry and flatten out. Obviously you can get official flower presses as well, but this works just as well. And once you have left it for a week, I left mine for a week, you could probably leave it for a few days, but I left mine for a week, you end up with something like this. So I just grabbed my pansies and some PVA glue, and I've also got these little see-through baubles that I still had left over from Christmas time. You want to make sure that you've got the correct 2 halves before popping some of your PVA glue on the inside and then popping a pansy on. And I also tried to dab a bit of the PVA glue over the pansy as well, just to seal it in. I opted for 1 pansy on one side and 2 littler ones on the other, as you can see here, and you can literally make as many of these as you have pansies and baubles, and they're super cheap and inexpensive, and they look really nice and springy and colourful. And yeah, baubles don't just have to be for Christmas, guys. So for the next DIY, I'm just using a big pot of paint, but you can use any paint you like, acrylic, or you can just spray them with some spray paint. I gave my paint a really good mix because, as you guys could probably see, it was very separated, before using some kebab sticks to stick on the end of my eggs, so I had something to hold them by, and then just dipped them in the paint and rolled them around and shook off the excess, and then I popped them in a cup to dry as well. Once they were all dry, I actually opted to go over them lightly with some gold spray paint as well, just to give it a patchy sort of splashed effect, which gave it a really nice shimmer actually, and I really think that they fit my colour scheme and my house very well. These are so customisable to depending on what your scheme is, and they look really nice just placed in a jar. For the next DIY, I am starting by creating a double boiler with my pan and a mug, and I'm just popping a tea light inside my mug. This is predominantly just to melt the wax. You can just use normal wax and melt your own, but the tea light was just the right amount. Then you want to grab your egg, and I cracked mine towards the top. You want to get your egg out, obviously, and then give it a quick rinse under the tap as well. And then once your tea light is all melted, you just want to pour the wax into the eggshell and make sure that the wick is placed correctly as well, and leave that to set, and then you've got your very own little egg tea light. For this next DIY, you want to grab some air drying or oven baked clay. I went for air dry, and you want to grab a good amount of this and then start kneading it and rolling it out. I didn't have a rolling pin, so I actually used a effervescent drink thing as my rolling pin, and then used a knife to carve out some bunny ears and then just a flat shape. You can neaten this up by pushing against it knife's edge with it. And then I also grabbed a glass and wrapped this in cling film just to protect my glass a bit, and wrapped this around the glass to create the pot shape. Once you've wrapped that all the way round, you can obviously cut a nice clean edge as well before kneading and rolling out some more clay to trace around the bottom of the mug for the bottom of your pot. Once you've got a good sized piece, you can stick this on, and I attach the two just basically by pinching the two sides together and then sort of flattening it around. Then I used my knife to make some indents for two eyes and a little cross nose, and left this to dry for a couple of days. Once dry, I used some metallic paint. This is just everyday craft paint, and it's got a really nice shimmer to it. So I coated all the inside and the outside, and gave it a couple of coats of this as well, before also going in with a Sharpie to define those features that we made with the knife. And there we are. For this next DIY, you want to grab some lino, or you could use some polystyrene as a stamp maker, or just a stamp you've already bought. And I drew out my bunny shape without his fluffy tail, and then cut this out as well. You can of course skip this step if you've got a bunny stamp that you've bought from a craft store or something, but I didn't, so I made my own. And then once you've done this, you want to grab some white paint or whatever colour paint you're deciding to use, and your cushion cover, and simply sponge the paint onto the stamp, and then press the stamp down onto your cushion at different angles and different sides and things, just to give it some dimension. Then you can either use craft pom-poms, or I didn't have any craft pom-poms, I only had this pom-pom wool, so I cut off the pom-poms and then hot glued them onto the bunny's little bottoms to make their little fluffy tails. And the hot glue works perfectly fine for this, and they are really actually quite durable as well, despite how they look. So you just want to glue and make sure you've thoroughly glued down all your little rabbit pom-poms, and then pop your cushion cover back in, and there we are.
Thank you for watching this video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed these DIYs and decorations and things that you can do for Easter. I absolutely love how the bunny cushion turned out, like ridiculously so. Please make sure to subscribe if you like this video, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys!